Hey friends, I was really inspired by an email recently that made reference to a story in 2 Kings chapter 3 about digging ditches. The story's about three kings who are out in the wilderness and they couldn't find water for themselves or their animals. They were out of ideas and resources. They were thirsty and hungry and weary and tired, and they decided to consult Elisha the prophet. And I'm intrigued by the scene that unfolds. Elisha calls for a harp to be played. And while that, I'm sure, worshipful music was happening, God spoke. And he promises that the dry valley will be filled with pools of water. And he gives them these instructions. Listen to these words in 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. This is what the Lord says. Make this valley full of ditches. For this is what the Lord says. You will see neither wind nor rain, yet this valley will be filled with water, and you, your cattle, and your other animals will drink. Here's the encouragement I take from this story. When we feel like we're in a wilderness, weary, tired, thirsty, which means some of us thirsty for fellowship, others tired of the isolation, for others weary of still going to work and trying to figure out childcare or homeschooling. Whatever the source of our weariness and fatigue and thirst, the strategy is still the same. Dig some ditches. For the kings, it would have seemed crazy to dig ditches when there was no water or rain in sight. So digging ditches for them was really an action step of faith that God was going to do something, that he really does keep his promises. For you and I, digging ditches really is an action step of faith. Carving out some channels for living water to flow. Believing that God is going to deliver some fresh grace, some refreshment of our joy, to revive our heart energy, to remind us that he is faithful. So what might that look like for you? It might mean carving out some new ditches of prayer and Bible study. It might mean cleaning out some old ditches that have plugged things up for you. It might mean making some phone calls to a friend and asking them, how are you staying connected with God these days and staying refreshed and going deeper in your faith? It might mean listening to some podcasts or watching some YouTubes that carve out some room for faith. Maybe you want to make a comment in the comments section. What does it look like for you to dig some ditches, to carve out some channels for God to bring deeper heart refreshment? What does digging ditches look like for you?